Okay, so today we're going to be looking at fraction operations with different numerators. So we have the word problem. Mrs. Phillips had 3/4 of a pan of brownies. Lyle ate 2/8 of what was left. How much of the pan of brownies does Mrs. Phillips have now? So we're starting with our 3/4 of the pan of brownies, and Lyle is going to eat 2/8 of what is left. So this is our starting point, and this is what we're taking away. So when we write that out, it's going to look like this. 3/4 minus 2/8. And so we're going to look at two different ways of how to find this answer using models. So the first model we're going to look at is the linear model. Something to keep in mind with the linear model is that these fraction bars are going to represent equivalent fractions. So this is our one whole. It is just one long strip. And the next thing we're going to look at, we need to use fourths and we need to use eighths. So when we look at our fourth bar, these little red pieces represent 1/4. So we're going to fill that up until it is equivalent to one whole. So let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4/4 is equivalent to one whole. So there are fourths. And then we also have eighths. So let's see what that looks like. We have 1, oops, these are hard to pick up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 8/8 is equal to 4/4, which is equal to one whole. So these are showing us equivalent fractions. So we are going to use that to find our answer. So when we're looking at this, the first thing we need to do is have a common unit, because right now we have a denominator of 4 and a denominator of 8, and we need those to be the same. So when we look at our fraction bars, we see, let's look, 3/4 right here. So we see 3/4. Let's go look at our fourths, which are our reds. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go ahead and take these away and see what we have left. Let's look at our eighths now to see what is equivalent to 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/8 is equivalent to 1, 2, 3 fourths. So we now have 6/8 minus 2/8. And we don't have to change the 2/8 because now we have a common unit. And that's what we were looking for in the first place. So that's all we have to do. So now we've got our eighths. We no longer have to worry about our fourths anymore. So we have 6/8 right here minus 2/8. So I'll go ahead and take those away. And let's count what we have left. 1, 2, 3, 4/8. So we find that our answer is 4/8. But we need to do what's called simplifying, because both of these numbers, your numerator and your denominator, can be divided by the same number, which means that we can find an equivalent fraction for this number. So using our fraction bar again, I'm going to go ahead and get my whole out, and I'm going to get my halves out. And when we look at our whole, it is equal to 2 halves. And if we line up the 4/8 that we have left, it is the same length as 1/2. So we have 4/8, which is, when it's simplified down, 1/2. So Miss Phillips started with 3/4 of a pan of brownies, and Lyle ate 2/8 of what was left. Now, Miss Phillips has 1/2 of a pan of brownies left. So, we're going to go back, and we are going to do this another way. So we're going to move our fraction bars out of the way. We don't need those right now. And we are going to now look at our area model. So we're going to use, for our area model, a circle that is divided up in different ways. So, as you can see, each of these circles are the same size. So I could cover it up here. They're each equivalent to one whole, okay? So we're going to look at this question again. Oops. Let me move these up. Okay. Mrs. Phillips had 3/4 of a pan of brownies. Lyle ate 2/8 of what was left. How much of the pan of brownies does Mrs. Phillips have now? So, Mrs. Phillips started, remember that this is equivalent to 1, so she started with 3/4 of this pan of brownies. But we're running into the same problem, aren't we? We have 4ths and we have 8ths. Those we can't intermingle. So what we're going to do is we're going to find our common unit again. That's what we're looking for right there. So if I look at my pieces right here, we got a 4th. And if I use it here, we can see that that is equivalent to 2/8. So my circle that includes 4/4 is equivalent to my circle that includes 8/8. So we are going to, if we're looking at 3/4, we want this circle to look the same as this circle. So we are going to take out whatever is equivalent to this 1/4. We're going to take these away. We're not worried about our 4ths anymore. So now we've got our 8ths, and we have our 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to take away 2/8 because that is what Lyle ate. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4/8 left, which, as we have already established, is equal to 1/2, equivalent to 1/2.